Raon grew up in the cold backstreets of Incheon, where fists replaced lullabies and survival came before childhood. His mother died young, his father vanished, and the streets became his teacher. By age 14, he was running errands for small gangs. By 18, he was feared. By 26, he was untouchable, a drug lord who moved like a shadow. Raon didn't believe in happiness. He didn't believe in good people. He didn't believe life had meaning. He lived for power and moved with violence because the world had shown him nothing else. He smoked to feel calm, drank to forget, and killed to survive. To him, life was nothing but noise, and he was the quietest, deadliest part of it. In Lagos, Nigeria, Zuri Adeyemi lived a life opposite of Raon's. She was raised by a humble tailor mother and a schoolteacher father who taught her, gratitude is wealth, kindness is strength, and small things are the real miracles. Zuri wasn't rich, but she was rich in spirit. She appreciated cool evening breeze, fresh akara by the roadside, children playing, music at the market, sunrise after a long night. She believed happiness was found in tiny moments people often ignored. When she got selected for a culture research program in South Korea, she packed her bags with excitement and faith. She had no idea her warm light was about to collide with a cold soul. It was a rainy night in Seoul. Zuri was walking home when she stumbled into an alley. There she saw 3 men fighting, but one stood out. Raon. He moved with brutal precision, breaking bones with ease. His face was expressionless, like violence was breathing to him. Zuri froze, not because she was afraid, but because she had never seen such emptiness in a person's eyes. One of the injured men collapsed near her. Instinctively, she knelt, tearing a piece of her scarf to press his bleeding wound. Raon stared at her like she was a puzzle. "Why would you help him?" he asked in a cold voice. "He tried to stab me." Zuri met his gaze calmly. "Pain is pain. Human is human." Raon blinked. He had heard insults, screams, curses, but never something so simple and gentle. The next day, Raon found himself thinking about her. This stranger who didn't tremble at his presence. This woman who treated enemies with kindness. He wasn't used to being ignored by his own conscience, but something about her unsettled him. When he saw her again at a small street cafe, she greeted him with a smile that felt like sunlight. He frowned. "Why are you smiling at me?" "Because I'm happy to see you safe," she replied. Safe. No one had said that word to him since he was a child. Raon started following Zuri around Seoul, pretending it was coincidence. He watched her laugh with fruit vendors, feed stray cats, hold warm cups of tea with joy, and take pictures of cherry blossoms. He couldn't understand. One day he asked, "Why do you treat small things like treasure?" Zuri smiled. "Because they are. For someone like me? For everyone," she said softly. Her words felt like cracks in his armor. Raon began changing without realizing it. He started pausing to watch the sunset instead of rushing to meetings. He noticed the sound of rain. He stopped beating a young recruit who made a mistake, something he would have done mercilessly before. His men noticed too. "Boss, you all right?" Raon ignored them. But inside, he felt something shifting. Something frighteningly warm. His rival gangs realized Raon was getting weaker, softer. They attacked, trying to take his empire. One night, men ambushed Zuri, mistaking her for leverage. But Raon arrived like a storm, furious, wild, protective. After he saved her, Zuri touched his trembling hand and whispered, "You don't have to live like this." For the first time in his life, Raon cried silently. Not from pain, but from being seen, from being valued. Raon decided to walk away from the drug world. It wasn't easy. It wasn't magical. It was violent and messy. But Zuri stood by him, not fixing him, not saving him, just reminding him what it felt like to be human. Raon learned gratitude for the peace of early mornings, for Zuri's laughter, for the safety he never had, for the simple fact of being alive. He realized life wasn't nothing. He had simply been too wounded to see its tiny miracles. One evening, by the Han River, Zuri handed him roasted corn, a taste of home for her. Raon watched the city lights shimmer on the water. For the first time, he felt content. "Zuri," he whispered, "you made me see color in a world I thought was gray." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "You found the color yourself. I only reminded you to look." Raon smiled, a small, rare smile that felt like rebirth. And for the first time since childhood, he felt grateful. Truly grateful. For the little things. For peace. For change. For her. Leaving the criminal world was not as simple as walking away. Raon soon learned that every sin had a shadow, and shadows follow everywhere. Former allies turned enemies. Old debts resurfaced. People he once commanded now felt betrayed. Every day felt like a battle he couldn't shoot his way through. But each night, when Zuri made him tea and sat with him in silence, he felt strength return. Not the violent strength of guns, but the quiet strength of someone who finally had something to protect. Zuri didn't scold him for his past. She didn't pretend he was innocent. She simply said, "Your story isn't finished yet." Those words kept him going. One cold evening, Raon received a message from someone he thought was long dead. Han Dae-sung, his childhood friend turned rival, the one who taught Raon his first lesson in betrayal. Dae-sung now led a new drug syndicate rising in Seoul. His message was simple. "You left, but your past didn't." Dae-sung wanted Raon back or dead. Either option worked. To be content,